The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise, sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process. Welcome to the television show devoted to local business, Buffalo on the Rise, with your host, Joe Chili. There's an entrepreneurial spirit in Western New York that's putting our area on the cusp of greatness. Each week, Buffalo on the Rise features local business leaders and decision makers who are shaping our future. If it's about local business, we'll talk about it right here, right now, during Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. On this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise. Everyone loves to see you smile, but if you need dental work, it can be daunting. Dr. Kaplansky is here to help. Western New York veterans who served our country deserve the best care. Find out how the Buffalo VA is helping our hometown heroes. Your garage is a prominent place in the look of your home. If you want a new look with ease of operation, Atlantic Garage is here with ideas. All on this edition of The Big Whack presents Buffalo on the Rise.
I'm Joe Chili. You can listen to me mornings on The Big Whack. Joining us today on The Big Whack's Buffalo on the Rise is Dr. Kaplansky. How are you today?
Good. How are you, Joe?
Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. You know, one of the things that I noticed when I was prepping and doing some of the research for the show itself is the fact that there are a lot of national firms. There are a lot of firms that come in now and they're advertising in it. And you know, I always wonder, I like to have local people that I can call on. If I have a dentist, I want to go to the same dentist all the time. I don't want to go to, you know, the dentist of the day, right, if you will. So what sets you apart from like the national firms?
Well, absolutely. So there's a big move in dentistry now is to consolidate, and basically dentists are selling their practices to larger companies. They're called DSOs. And most of the offices that you see out there, even though they might say Dr. So-and-so, they actually are part of a huge conglomerate, and it's a big corporate organization where profit is the most important thing. So we are a privately owned, very personable and local dental office. You always see the same people when you come, and we take good care of patients.
What do you think, you know, we know that you're in Gasport, and to some people Gasport may seem like it's a way off or whatever, but you have people from all over Western New York and Southern Ontario coming to you, right?
Absolutely. So Gasport, obviously not the center of the universe, and many people don't even know where it is, but the services that we provide, the process that we invented, and what we do for these patients is so unique that people have absolutely no problem traveling to us from Toronto, from Erie, Pennsylvania, from even Albany.
You say that you can have dental implants in less than a day. Now, is that really true? Less than a day for dental implants?
It does sound sort of magical, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes, the process is really unique, and it uses patients' native bone or native tissue, so we don't rely on grafts. And by doing that and placing implants strategically and kind of joining them together with prosthesis as a brace, we can load these implants right away and give people teeth within 24 hours.
How long did it take you personally to get to the point that you are now, to the Teeth Now process?
Well, I've been a dentist for 30 years, and I've been in practice in New York for 25 years. And it's pretty much a lifelong journey for me. And every year I just get better, like that wine or cheese.
And there's nothing up your sleeve, right? I want to make sure we're talking about, you know, a magic here and things like that. It is a revolutionary process. Now, it is, you know, you talk about this happening in less than a day. Yes. Traditionally, when we're talking about dental implants, is it something that can take weeks or a month or whatever?
Traditionally, it can take months, sometimes years. So let's say a person doesn't have teeth anymore, and they have deficient bone. They have not enough bone. they would come to a doctor and they would say, well, you're either not a candidate for a procedure or you will require grafting. So grafting takes sometimes months, sometimes years. Patient doesn't have teeth all that time. They just go in toothless and they're undergoing grafting surgeries. Then after grafting, they would attempt to place implants. A lot of times the grafted bone isn't as strong, so the implants cannot be placed. So then you already wasted a whole bunch of time. You wasted a bunch of money. You had no teeth all this time, and now you're stuck with the denture anyways. So a lot of patients experience this kind of a cycle of okay, I'm not getting anywhere with this. I just spend a lot of time and money, and I'm back to where I was with the denture.
Now, when you're talking about dental implants, because I grew up, not that I have dentures, but I grew up in the age of dentures. And there was, you just see people, corn on the cob, pushing it out of the way. Apples, pushing them out of the way. Caramels, pushing them out of the way. Dental implants, can you eat all those things?
You can eat anything. With dentures, you're relying on adhesive. So a lot of people buy denture glue by a bucket, literally, and they put it in there, and the denture comes loose while they're chewing. They have to reapply the adhesive a few times throughout the meal. Dental implants, the way we do it, pretty much gives you a chewing power when we're done, when the process is all finished. Not only identical to natural teeth, but sometimes even stronger, even better. We measure their bite force, and there's actually an appliance that can measure the bite force. And their bite force is tremendous. They can bite through anything.
I think there are women in my past that really wanted me to fall asleep and then put that adhesive on my mouth so I didn't talk anymore. I don't say that works successfully. Some people are told that they're just not a candidate for dental implants. Well, what's your response to that?
Most of the time we say, yes, you are a candidate. So the way it works, again, is we place implants into patients' native bones. So most patients that have been told that they're not candidates, the dentist only looks at the area where the teeth would go. We go to the other areas in the face, such as zygomatic areas, which is a cheekbone. There's an area behind the jaw on the upper called pterygoid plate. There's also areas inside the nose that can be used. There's called transnasal implants. So we can do all these things. I'm pretty much the only dentist, the only oral implantologist in this area that is qualified to perform these procedures.
Well, for more information and answers to your questions, contact Dentistry by Dr. Kaplansky by calling 716-772-7500 or go to drkaplansky.com. Promotional and sponsorship consideration provided by the following. I'm Joe Chile. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck Buffalo on the Rise is Sean Lindstrom from the leadership team from the Veterans Administration of Western New York. Welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
Good to have you here. Tell us a little bit about, when I think about the Veterans Administration, I think about all my friends that were vets. I was of the Vietnam era, and I was high on the list. We did the lottery system then, with that. And so I didn't have to go, but I have a lot of friends that did go. And we talk about it, the Vietnam experience was not quite the experience that we have today, when people return from service, right?
Well, that's true. And being an employee of the Western New York healthcare system, the VA Western New York healthcare system, and a veteran myself, on behalf of the VA, your friends, as you're engaging with them, please continue to welcome them home for us and invite them back. I mean, when I came home from Iraq in 2005, nearly 20 years ago, it was a major, it was a stark difference in terms of how folks were greeted when they came back, and then how they were treated even in the medical center, what the conditions were like, what the expectation of care was the type of services that we can provide. And now, as you know, one of the 5-star CMS ratings, the only medical center in Western New York to receive that rating this summer. It's a place that veterans should be comfortable coming to and know that they're receiving just tremendous care.
And what does the 5-star rating actually mean? Sure.
So rated on a few different metrics, mortality rates, recidivism, readmission rates. One of the things that I'm most proud of and things that I myself focus in the medical center is the patient experience. So we've known for a long time at the VA, we can provide effective and efficient care. We can get you the appointment when you need it. The care that you're going to receive is very efficient. And sometimes in the past, you've walked out and been like, maybe that could have gone a little better. I could have been treated a little nicer, whether it's someone at the window or the provider is more engaging. And that patient experience has gone up and up and up in the last several years. We have got a leadership team at the medical center now that, back in the day, well, if you were interacting with Joe on a Monday morning, it might be like, well, that's just how Joe is on a Monday morning. Like those types
After a
of
Bills loss.
Exactly. those types of things don't fly at the VA Western New York Medical Center, and it shouldn't be accepted anywhere, to be honest with you. But the experience we want the veteran to have each and every time they choose VA is top notch.
So do you do things like, now excuse the name, I'm probably using the wrong nomenclature here, but exit interviews with individuals to try to find, where the points are that you can improve?
Oh yeah, we're always looking for those pain points. So many different ways, and myself, we'll send secret shoppers throughout the medical center and sit in a waiting room and see how folks are interacting with veterans as they're waiting for care, what those medical support assistants, are they extending a little bit of extra courtesy as veterans may be a few minutes late to their appointment because they understand maybe just how difficult parking was that day or the weather was adverse or something like that. And then as you're on your way out, like, Joe, tell me a little bit about how things went today. So we're constantly trying to improve.
What about, the veterans that are coming back from service? Like you did, and thank you for your service.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. But, when people come back, are they reticent to contact the Veterans Administration because they just want to kind of separate themselves from the whole experience for a bit?
That's a good point, Joe. I think maybe initially speaking, that could be the case. I know when I went through a warrior transition program out of the Marine Corps and someone from the VA came and actually spoke to us, and I could probably remember her voice sounding much like Charlie Brown's teacher. Like I wasn't listening, like, because all I could focus on was what was next, and I wasn't mature enough at that point to really understand the benefits that were available to me then. So we have to do a better job of continuing to engage with our servicemen and women as they're discharging from the military, ensuring that they know what it is that they've earned.
All right, so how do people, if they're watching this morning, go about getting care?
We want to make it as barrier-free. So whether they're technologically savvy and they could do so on the website, and they can go to va.gov/Western New York. You could always Google many different ways in which you can go about accessing care. You could do so in the medical center. You could do so at our service center, our sister site downtown at VBA if they're looking to apply for benefits. But in terms of care, I personally like that individual face-to-face experience right at our hospital at 3495 Bailey Avenue, and they can meet with some of our experts in the service center that help determine eligibility and enrollment.
And what kind of care they need or what's bothering them or things like that, right? What about the PACT Act?
Well, the PACT Act, we're just, maybe 15 or 16 months into the PACT Act, and probably the largest expansion of benefits since the GI Bill. We have been very busy over these last 16 months, putting ourselves in front of the veterans in the community and making it, as we said earlier, as barrier-free. So just as we have the main medical center in Buffalo, we have community-based outreach clinics, whether you're located in Niagara Falls or Lockport or Springville, Dunkirk, Jamestown, you name it. We want to be where you are, and we've taken these PACT Act enrollment events throughout Western New York and making it easy for them to get a toxic exposure screen and meet with a provider in their community. And we've seen an increase in enrollments and an increase of veterans accessing that care that they deserve, that they've earned. And they can continue to do so by coming in and visiting us, and they can sign up for that screening.
Okay, 1 minute left. Sure. What is their first step? What should they be doing right now as their first step to getting care, or questions? Go to your website?
Yeah, go to the website, and I know that you're going to show that on the screen. So go to the website, make a phone call, talk to a veteran that's already engaged with us. We've got a lot of veterans that in the community that might have private health insurance through their employer, and that's great. And you might be happy with your primary care provider that you're receiving somewhere else, but there are other things that we can be assisting you along the way with. So you got to make yourself aware of what those benefits are, and find out by giving us a call.
Sean, thank you very much. For more information and answers to your questions, contact VA Western New York Healthcare by calling 716-834-9200 or go to va.gov/Western New York Healthcare. Sponsorship and promotional considerations for the preceding segment was provided by the following. I'm Joe Chile. You can listen to me mornings on the Big Weck. Joining us today on the Big Weck's Buffalo on the Rise is Edward Shanahan from Atlantic Garages.
How we doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Excellent.
Can I call you Ed?
Call me whatever you want.
No, I think we'll just stick with Ed. I'm just kidding. Tell us a little bit about Atlantic Garages. This always was a mystery to me. I've seen people, say, oh, we never had a garage. We want a garage. Going to put a garage up. And are there certain things you have to look at? Can you put a garage like in a neighborhood? I want a 3-story garage. Well, you can't have a 3-story garage. Does it have to kind of reflect the neighborhood too?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things with garages, and they're pretty simple for us because that's our profession. But if you call me, depending on what township you live in, there's all different residential codes for each town, municipality. Each one has a different one. Not only do they have your residential code, you have R1, R2, R3. So it gets pretty complicated for the average homeowner if they want to attempt it themselves. You may think you could do a 20 by 20, and realistically you can only do an 18 by 20 at a certain height or things like that.
You notice I didn't hear him mention R2D2 garages, just the R1, R2, R3. What about somebody, do you ever, I'm sure you do, but I've always been intrigued by like a garage where they have the garage on the bottom and upstairs, maybe it can be a studio, it can be an apartment, place to put the kids, place to put the husband when he's in the doghouse, whatever it might be. Do people ask for things like that, or is it generally just for storage and cars and whatever?
Yeah, so we're 100% custom build. I come to your home or anybody else's home that calls us, or even their place of business. We do commercial work as well. But you tell us what you're looking for, and we build it within the confines of what the town or municipality lets us. And sometimes, that's not conducive for what you want. So we go for a variance with that particular town or municipality. And we can do storage lofts. We do, if you want to do that apartment type thing, it gets a little complicated. As soon as we do a second story that's accessible for you to walk on, it changes the building codes dramatically. So we try to give you the most economical storage solution, and that's part of my job when you hire me, to figure that out for you and get that out for you at a reasonable price.
What happens if, you come in and you meet with somebody and they're not very creative? I want a garage, but I want you to draw it up for me. Draw the whole thing up, give me some different plans. Do people say this to you? I mean, I'm not a very creative person when it comes to stuff like that. A garage to me is a box to put my car in. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to say that.
No, that's
but
all right.
What I'm saying, right?
But when you ask me for that, I tell you, go get a shoebox, and then we'll put a roof on it and flip it around, whatever you want. No, it's tough because in our business, there's a lot of different design things you can go out and purchase. I tell everybody, we'll give you hundreds of addresses of garages that we built. We have pictures of them. You can go on our website. I kind of walk you through it. I could explain it to you anytime. The easiest way, I say a gable. Gable roof looks like an A is gable. Reverse gable is just A flipped, so it's reversed.
Okay.
Hip roof is 4 sides, so you have this, all 4 sides is a hip roof. So those are your 3 regular designs. If you want a barn style roof, that's gambrel style. So I kind of talk you through it, and you explain to me, or I'll look at your neighbors and say, hey, he has a built out rake. Would you like it to look like that? Now, a lot of these other builders that build homes or sheds or maybe garages, they're just general contractor, they'll build you a shoebox. Got it? They'll build you what they want to build because it's easy for them. I'll build you whatever you want, and I kind of walk you through that.
And generally, is it something that kind of mirrors your home?
We can match it 100% if that's what you're looking to do. A lot of people always ask me with that gable, reverse gable, build techniques. If you've got a wider garage than deep, usually it's more cost effective to do a reverse gable. So your house may be gabled, and we'll say, maybe you should do a reverse gable. And they always say, is that right? Because my house is this way. And I say, go down the street, there's 6 of them that are opposite of what the house is. So it's personal preference, but we can match it exactly if you'd like.
Last time I looked up something like that, all that came up was Clark Gable. So I'm probably not very astute when it comes to roofs. You guys have been in business since what, 1979?
1979, the original owner started it, yep.
This is a family business?
It is a family business.
Is that good? Is that bad? You can tell us. Here's the inside scoop. Nobody else is paying attention. It's okay.
It's all right. Yeah, she's in the office, so she's doing. The big boss is in the office, and actually we just brought our son is 15 months, so I had him in the stroller the other day breaking some metal coil. I got to break him in early, but it is a family business, and everybody we try to deal with locally, we try to deal with small businesses as well that are family orientated.
Well, that's great. Keeping things right in the business right here in Western New York, right? I have to ask you this because, as soon as Ed came up and sat down, I'm looking up here. It says commitment to finishing the project 25-8. I said, of course, I don't want to seem stupid. So I said, Ed, I think it's a typo here. It says, commitment to finish the project 25-8. You said, no, it's not a typo. Tell us what 25-8 means.
Well, 25-8 is pretty much you get 24 hours in a day. We try to give you an extra hour of our effort every day, so that's where the 25 comes from. We're up before the sun comes up, and we'll work on your project, in the office or getting materials together after the sun goes down, not a problem. 8 days a week instead of 7 because we get that extra hour every day, and we try to give you a whole nother day's worth of our work. And what we mean by that is just our commitment to get the project done. Once we start a project, we're on your project. There is delays sometimes with vendors getting some things in, and we'll communicate that to you. That's the important part, is communicating it to you. So 25-8 is our commitment to you, letting you know that we'll work past that 24-hour mark. We're going to keep it going until your project's complete 100%.
So it's not like, you start on something, 2 days later you come back to work on something, 3 days later you come back, next week you're back. I mean, you try to, as long as you have the materials necessary to try to work on that continuously, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Once we're on your project, we're on your project. The only delay sometimes is with the municipalities and inspections. So sometimes our hands are tied, we have to wait for something. We go start another project, same thing. We wait on their project, we come back, complete yours, get the final inspection.
That's great. I'm very impressed by what you guys do. For more information and answers to your questions, contact Atlantic Garages by calling 716-694-6340 or go to AtlanticGaragesWNY.com. Sponsorship and promotional consideration for the preceding segment was provided by the following.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise. For information on this and other shows, go to our website, bigwack.com, and find out how you can participate on the program if you're a hometown business. I'm Joe Chili. Thanks for watching and listening to the Big Wack, Buffalo's oldie station.
The Big Wack Presents Buffalo on the Rise was sponsored by Dr. Kaplansky Dental Implants. Get new permanent teeth in 24 hours with our exclusive Teeth Now process.